Hey, Queen City Minis and more fans, welcome back, folks. So today on our Old World Unit Deep Dive, we're looking at the Bretonnia Knights of the Realm on foot. Now, guys, if you do enjoy this video and you want to see these continue, make sure you subscribe down below. All the subscriptions go a long way to help the channel and helps our viewership out there. But if you want to help the channel out more, guys, consider joining. You can either join at the base one, which is like $1 a month, or the bonus super cool one, which is $2.99 a month or something like that. You get early access to videos, you get member-only videos, and you get extra entries into our giveaways when we have those. So definitely check that out. But guys, if you can't do that right now, I understand. Subscribing goes a long way to help the channel out, or even give us a thumbs up. But guys, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you to all of our current subscribers that have been with us for years now. Alrighty guys, so if you're new to these unit deep dives, the first thing we do is look at who this unit is. So these are a group of knights for the Bretonnia faction, which are considered like one of the good guys. This is a human race, okay? So knights on foot consist of minor nobles belonging to the extended family of a baron or duke. These warriors proudly display the colors and motifs of their lord's heraldry, often further embellished with personal devices, identifying them as belonging to a single extended family whilst declaring their individualism and their own statute as nobles. So, super cool little unit, guys. These are basically like your elite, your grave guard, your tomb guard, your great swords, okay? These are your foot elite infantry that you're going to see within the game. They're heavily armored, and they come with two different options, both with a great weapon and with a sword and a shield. So let's look at the kit itself. Alright guys, so to go along with the new world, we got this new shiny kit. So for those of you who don't know, the knights on foot used to be metal models, and now we have these really cool plastic versions. So it says on the box you get 20 models. You can either build them as 2 units of 10, 1 unit of 20, a unit of 15, and have 5 left over. There's a ton of different combinations in here. You have enough for 2 commands as well, so you could build 2 units of 10. And they either come with a sword and shield or a great weapon. Now what's really cool about this kit is a lot of the arms and the heads are kind of a mix and match thing, and they work really well with your Knights of the Realm that are mounted. So you can use those parts on there. I've seen a lot of conversions where you're taking the great weapons left over from this kit, combining with Knights of the Realm to make questing knights, which is a really cool unit within the game. That it's basically a knight unit with great weapons, and those models are like a combination of metal and plastic and really hard to find right now. So it's a good way to get some cheaper questing knights out of your Knights of the Realm boxes. Alright, so now that we've dived into the lore, we've dove into the box itself, let's dive into some rules. So, these guys have a movement base of 4, alright, a weapon skill of 4, a ballistic skill of 2, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, attacks 1 with leadership 8. So, base unit size is 5, they come with a hand weapon, heavy armor, and shield. So these guys are coming heavily armored into the game. Alright, they're starting with a base save of 4, which is really good. Okay, then on top of this, guys, they come in at 11 points a model for what you get. For 2 additional points, you can take a great weapon as well as what you have here. So you could have a great weapon, a hand weapon, and a shield. So it gives you options to choose what you want to use within the unit itself. Or if you're tight on points, you can get rid of the shield, so it drops your armor down by 1, but you can take a great weapon instead. Now remember, you must choose which weapon you fight with in combat at the first round of combat. So if you have great weapon and hand weapon, you have to choose which one you use, and you do not get the shield bonus if you're fighting with the great weapon. So it may be better just to replace the shield with the great weapon. That way you have the hand weapon and great weapon. Okay, so not a huge loss there. Now, in addition to all these other upgrades, you can take a first knight, which is your champion. So he has the same base profile, but he goes up by 1 attack. So he'll be attacks 2, with the same leadership of 8, and that's 6 additional points, right? You have a standard for 6 points and a musician for 6 points. I will say, after building a couple sets of these guys, the musician and the standard on these are beautiful models. I love the standard. It's really ornate, really cool looking, and I definitely suggest you build that model when you're building this. In fact, I would probably build the entire command at least once for this unit, because these upgrades don't seem like a lot of points, and they're really not. They're about half the points of a regular knight, but they come in really handily, especially the standard, giving you additions into combat itself, and then the musician allowing you to break ties, which doesn't seem like a huge deal and doesn't happen that often, but it really, really does. Okay, so super good to have with this unit itself. Now, the unit can also take a couple magic standards as well as magic items. So a first knight can purchase items up to a total of 25 points, and then you can purchase a magic standard up to 25 points as well. Alrighty, now a command structure and the base rules does not a unit make. Instead, the special rules are what really stands units apart from each other. So remember, in Warhammer we have a lot of universal special rules and some that are like army specific, so make sure you're looking your rules up in the correct spot. So the army specific rules, the first one is the blessing of the lady on this unit. So this is a special Bretonnia only thing, and they have to give up the first turn to get this. Well, first activation of the first turn to get this, because they're basically praying to their goddess. So everyone with the blessing of the lady gets a 6-up ward save against wounds caused. If the strength is 5 or higher, they get a 5-up ward save, which is really, really great to see. Now, they also have the Knight's Vow, which is another Bretonnia special rule. So within the Knight's Vow itself, the knights do not, and I repeat, do not, okay, take panic tests when a friendly unit with the peasantry special rule is destroyed while within 6 inches of it, or when it is fled through by a friendly peasantry unit. A character with this cannot join a peasantry unit, and a character that is a peasant cannot join a unit as well. So something to really keep in mind with these guys is they fight just fine next to a unit of men-at-arms. The men-at-arms unit is destroyed, or if the peasants with bow are destroyed, or the yeomen, or whatever they are gone, this unit will stay and fight no matter what. So they have closed order, which will give you a couple bonuses within combat itself, as well as a furious charge. Now, let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing. So closed order, a unit consisting of models with this special rule, may adopt a close order formation as described in page 100. Easy enough, okay? And then you have furious charge, which is something I think really fits in with this unit. They don't have like the lance formation like the Knights of the Realm on horse. Instead, furious charge is during a turn in which a charge move of 3 inches or more, a model with this special rule gains a +1 modifier to its attack characteristic, which is absolutely fantastic for this unit. Bumping them up to 2 attacks each will really help push your damage output, especially with great weapons, or even just having a bunch of hand weapon attacks will be really good too. So overall, some great rules for the unit. Alright, so now a big unit like this is the perfect place to get some really good buffs in. Now, these buffs are things that can apply to multiple different units, and some of them do have some drawbacks, so really watch for that. So the first thing I want to talk about is under the lore of the lady. So they have a spell in there called the Lady's Wrath. It's an enchantment, has a casting value of 9+, and is range self. So it remains in play as well, so you can cast it early, but remember your opponent can, break it later. So keep that in mind. So whilst the spell is in play, the character, their mount, and any unit they have joined gain a +1 modifier to their strength characteristic to a maximum of 10, and improve the armor piercing characteristic of their weapons by 1. So I really think this is really good on a unit with the great weapons. So the great weapons themselves give them +2 strength and AP -2. With the Armor Bane 1 special rule, now remember it requires 2 hands and strikes last. So you need to take a decent sized unit or give them some type of survivability to basically last that long, or charge far enough to give you some improved initiative. But that's going to take this unit to strength 6, AP 3 with armor bane 1. So you roll a 6 and it's basically AP minus 4, which is insane to think about. You take a decent sized unit of these guys and then they charge in. They're going to do 2 attacks each. They're going to do a ton of damage. Even if they're just 5 wide, that's 11 attacks because of the champion and the furious charge. You know, that's insane to think about. That's a ton of damage going out. So really look for that combo in the future, especially if you see a unit of great weapons. Now, the limitation to this is it is a spell that is cast by a prophetess. So you have to have a spellcaster within the unit itself. You can't have the spellcaster hiding behind the unit and then casting it on them. It's an enchantment itself. So they have to cast it on them and they have to be in the unit. So it makes it easier for you to character snipe these models out, because you can just hit them with the guys in combat. But also remember, if you challenge a prophetess, they can decline. You don't lose the lady's favor, and they can move to the back of the unit without really any penalty, which is a great bonus for this unit itself and makes it kind of more possible for the prophetess to be in the unit. Alrighty, now with their base kind of allotment of 25 points for banners, it doesn't give them a lot of option. There's really only 2. You can take the war banner for +1 combat res, and then the blazing banner for flaming attacks. Flaming attacks aren't as good as they used to be within this edition itself, and the war banner giving +1 combat res is pretty much a big deal, but I feel like it would be better to put your BSB in this unit to give them a better banner itself and save your points to give towards the BSB. So overall, these aren't bad options, but I feel like your points are used better on other things. Alrighty guys, so when we talk about ranking units within Warhammer, the old world, these are the kind of criteria I use for ranking. So S, they're so overpowered, they're an automatic include and will just wreck your opponent by being just in your list by itself. Okay? A, they're amazing, they're an auto include, you should take these every single time. Right? A B, it's good, but I'm not going to staple it to my list every single time I play this army, right? C, they're average. They're a good unit, but I don't have to include them in my list to win games. D, they're a fun unit. They do some cool things, but they're not very competitive. I probably would not take these to a tournament, but if I'm playing a casual game day, they may be fun to take every now and again. And F, just completely unusable. Their rules make it to where they do not function on the table, and they do not give anything towards the army, or even they contradict the army and provide a negative buff to the models around them. Alrighty, so my final rank for these guys is I give these guys a B. Okay, now remember, within the Bretonnian faction itself, you have to take a peasant unit and you have to take a knight unit. So, if you're not taking the knights on foot, you have to take a knight's unit on horse. So keep that in mind. So you're always going to take one of these no matter what. Now, the foot group is really good. You can take a big block of them. They can have some really high damage output. Their mobility isn't as good as the foot knights, so keep that in mind. And the models are a lot more expensive. $80 for 20 guys is a little pricey, okay? So really keep that in mind when you're going to build your units out, especially if you're doing larger games and larger play formats. Now, this unit is really cool because you have 2 options. You can go for a more defensively tanky build, or you can go for a more offensively heavy build with the great weapon version itself versus the sword and shield version. Or if you want to do both, you could take hand weapon, shield, and great weapon, but you're going to pay more points for that. I feel overall this is a really good unit that you'll definitely see on the table, but it's also going to depend on the general and how you play within your Bretonnia faction itself. Now, you could go just regular knights on horse heavy, which would be really cool, or you could go an all foot route and do these guys on foot along with some peasants and some artillery and stuff, which would be really cool to see as well. Overall, you're definitely going to see them on the table. They're going to be gorgeous models, and you're going to have fun playing them. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you think my grade of a B is right, or if I'm totally off the mark on this one. But guys, I would love to hear what you think down below in the comment section. Alright guys, if you've made it this far in the video, definitely hit our subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all of our old world coverage, as well as our Conquest the Last Argument of Kings, and all the other cool videos we have here on the channel. That subscribe button helps us out a ton, and if you can hit that thumbs up button, that goes a long way too. But guys, check out all of our other amazing content. On Mondays, we're talking about Conquest the Last Argument of Kings. On Wednesdays, it's Whatever Wednesday. I talk about a lot of stuff. Thursdays, we sometimes do some drop zone stuff. Fridays are going to be for Sigmar when the new edition drops. We're not jumping into that quite yet. And Saturday is today, which is the old world. So also check out our studio updates, which hopefully will be starting back up and on the first basically Sunday of the month, and we do some hobby live streams. We've been painting some beastmen for the old world on there, so definitely check those out here in the future. But thank you so much for joining me here, guys. This is Vanguard J, signing out, folks.